They say this is a big rich town. I just come from the poet's part. Bright light, city life, I gotta make it, this is where it goes down. I just happen to come up hard. Legal or illegal, baby.
Hey everybody, I'm back to talk about the latest episode of Power. Did everybody enjoy it? I enjoyed this episode so much. So let's get right into it. So, in this episode, it's centered around the moving of Lobos. You got, on one hand, you got Tommy and Ghost, and they're making this plan to snatch up Lobos and get rid of him. So, one of the things that happened was Ghost took Tommy back to his apartment because Tommy slept in his car and he didn't want to go back into the apartment. So Ghost got him up and he took him into the apartment, and you can tell that Tommy was still having a hard time with it. He's still thinking about, him killing Holly, and it's still this traumatic thing that just happened. Okay, so I can understand he wasn't just ready to just go back in the house and act like everything was cool. But Ghost is there and he's helping him, and he sees that Tommy is having a hard time. So they start concocting this plan to get Lobos when Tasha walks in. And at first, Ghost just was like, Tommy, don't tell her nothing. Let her go on and go back home. And, she don't need to be in this. And Tommy was like, come on, she needs to be a part of it. We need her. So they loop Tasha into the plan and, let her know what's going on. And it was actually beneficial to have Tasha there because she became a big part of their plan. Meanwhile, back on the other hand of things, you have Mike and Angela and Greg, and the whole police department. They're getting ready to move Lobos. Mike is keeping in touch with the rest of Lobos's people, letting them know, when they're leaving, when they're going, blah, blah, blah. And Angela, she's not thinking no more of it. She's just like, finally, we can move him to DC or wherever he was going, and he'll be out of our hands. And Greg is like, yeah, I'm going to make sure he get to where he need to go so, Ruiz can come and testify and do all this stuff. He's still pushing for him to be moved. Okay. Now, so a part of Ghost's plan was to go to Karen's hotel and spend the night. So he has a little meeting with her, and he tells her that he wants to come and spend the night to kind of get a feel of, her place and how, the ins and outs of everything. And he brings Tasha with him, his wife. Okay. Now, before they leave and do all of that stuff, Dean, the head security guy, he talks to Jamie and he asked him, do you still need us to follow you? Because obviously, we had to come in and save the day. There are obviously people trying to kill you, so you might need a little help. And Ghost was like, no, I told you that I didn't need you watching me, so y'all need to be up out of here. Which was rude because, Ghost, you couldn't tell him thank you, though. You couldn't say, good looking out, you saved me and my son. Thank you. No, he ain't tell him thank you. He was like, look, I ain't even tell y'all to be there. Okay, Ghost. So that whole thing happens. Okay, fast forward. It's the day that they're moving Lobos. And Tasha and Ghost show up at the hotel and they check in and they're holding hands, and Tasha's just looking at him like, ugh, you get on my nerves. Here we go once again. But, a part of her was kind of happy to be in the mix again because this is the part of the game that she misses. She missed being with Ghost. She missed, being on a low, sneaking around doing this dirty stuff. This is her whole element, honey. Even though she's mad about the circumstances, she likes what's going on a little bit. You can tell it when she's in the hotel room and they bring in the room service and she says Ghost is in the shower and she's eating, the little sandwiches, on that whole platter that Karen M had brought for her. You could just tell the look in her face. She's like, yeah, this is what we used to do. This is cool. But, she's still mad at him, until she found them papers. Then she was really pissed. But, Ghost, wait a minute. Ghost. So you need Tasha for this plan, correct? Okay. You're going to be spending the night, not really, but spending the night at this hotel with Tasha. Why would you bring them papers with you? Why would you do that? She done helped you out. She didn't have to do none of this, but she's doing it, to make sure her baby daddy don't get locked up. I mean, she's trying to make sure you stay alive. And you gonna bring them papers with you? What you thought Tasha wasn't gonna look through your stuff? Come on, Tasha is thorough. What you thought she was gonna do? That was stupid. I was like, Ghost, what are you doing? Why would you bring that with you? Like you couldn't do that another day? Really? You gonna bring it on this trip? This trip? Come on, Ghost. Anyway, so when she went off on him, I was like, yes, Tasha, let him know, honey. He tried you. No, Ghost. No. That was not cool. Went with it. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying. So Tasha is there at the hotel holding the fort down, acting like Ghost is there. When Angela is texting him, Tasha is texting, her back, saying all the things that Ghost would say, how he would say it. So she was under the illusion that he was there spending the night by himself in that hotel for work. But Ghost knew that she wasn't gonna be able to go to that hotel with him because he asked Angela to go with him, and she was like, "Nah, I gotta work and I can't say nothing else about it." And he was like, "All right, cool. I'll just go and I'll be back, the next day." So she had no idea that Tasha was there with him. So anywho, Tommy has to keep playing along with Lobos's people to be in the car when they picked up Lobos. There was going to be like this intersection where they were going to be the most vulnerable. So that's where they were going to pick up Lobos and snatch him away. Now keep in mind, Greg was in the car, in the truck with them moving Lobos. So you knew it was going to be kind of a tussle anyway, because Greg wasn't finna just let Lobos go easily. So they meet at this intersection and, guns get fired and Greg got shot. Now when I seen that Greg had gotten shot, I was like, well, I guess he's gone. But come to find out later, he wasn't dead. He had a vest on, so it wasn't a fatal shot, but it did wound him and it hurt him pretty bad. But anyway, so Tommy and Lobos's people get Lobos into their car and they speed off. So on down the road, Ghost comes up and he shoots everybody. And he and Tommy take Lobos out into the woods. And while they're out in the woods, Lobos is still trying to, talk for his life. Okay, but it's not going to happen. Lobos brings up Holly and he's like, I'm gonna make her suffer and she's gonna die. And you can see it in Ghost's face. He's like, oh, Tommy is gonna flip at any moment. Let's get him over here to where he need to be. We done dug a hole up for him and everything. Let's get him over here. So the whole time they're walking, Lobos is just trying to drive this wedge in between Tommy and Ghost, which you can still tell that Tommy is still upset about the way things went down between he and Ghost, because he still got this animosity towards him. I mean, you can just feel it. You can hear it when he talks to him, when he brings certain stuff up. It's just Tommy ain't completely over it. But keep in mind, he just made up with him yesterday. Okay, so no, it's still a fresh wound. Okay, he just killed his baby mama the day before, which he still don't know that Holly was pregnant. Oh, let me back up because when they were concocting the whole plan, they didn't tell Tasha that Holly was dead, number one. So she just figured the reason why Holly wasn't there because Tommy found out that she was pregnant and he messed something up and he kicked her out, or Holly left, or whatever the case may be. So that's when Ghost found out that Holly was actually pregnant. But he doesn't know that Tommy doesn't know. It's just a mess. So they get to the burial site where they were getting ready to shoot him and put him down in a hole. And all of a sudden, a phone rings. And it's Mike calling because he wants to know where in the world Lobos is. And so the whole plan was nobody bring their phones because, they can track it off of the towers, your location at a certain point in time if, you're using your phone or if you get phone calls or whatever. So the fact that he had a phone kind of threw them off. And so they had to come up with another plan. And that was to, shoot him and bury him somewhere else because now that phone had the location to where they were. So while him and Tommy are arguing back and forth, Ghost and Tommy, Lobo strikes out and he just runs into the woods. And eventually Ghost found him and he knocked him down and he told Tommy, look, I gotta end this right now. So he shoots Lobos in the chest and kills him, and they just leave his body sitting out there. It's over with. Lobos is dead. So while they're cleaning up and, getting themselves together, here goes Ghost again, talking about, oh, well, everything is over. Now we can get out the game and we don't have to worry about it. And Tommy is just looking at him like, yeah. What? When is Ghost gonna get it? Tommy don't want out. He didn't want out in the beginning. He don't want out now. Why are you trying to hype this let's leave the game idea up? He just killed his girl. See, and Tommy even said it. He was like, at least you got a family to go to. I don't have no family. Which that hurt Ghost because in the back of his mind, he's like, well, I'm your family. But you gotta understand, Tommy, he's still hurt and he feels alone because at the end of the day, when he thought he was gonna have to kill Ghost, he pushed Tasha away, he pushed them kids away, he pushed everybody away, and he clung on to Holly. And he even told Ghost, I hear what you're saying about, talking to other women, but there won't be another Holly. And I'm pretty sure there won't be. There are a million girls out there who are way better than Holly. Okay, but I digress. And so Tommy walks off and he's like, man, you like, okay, all right. And as he's leaving, Ghost looks at him and he says, Tommy, I'm sorry about Holly is what he meant. But he also meant, I'm sorry about that baby too. But he didn't come out and say that. So when Tommy just shrugged it off like, yeah, and walked off, Ghost was like, well, I guess he didn't care about her being pregnant. All right. So later on, when Ghost gets back to the club, Dean is there. Dean and his little homeboy was there. And Ghost is just like, didn't I tell y'all I don't need y'all around? And then it was revealed who Dean is. And let me pause right here because I have to shout out Bam Erickson. He and his panel does a power review as well. They call it, their after show. And I watch it every week when Power is on. And he posed this question last week and I could not help it. I busted out laughing. It was so funny in the moment, y'all. Y'all have to go check them out. But he was like, who the F is Dean? Who is this dude? And so bam, in this episode we find out who Dean is. So Dean is aka Milan, who is one of the Persians that was associated with one of the guys that Ghost popped off. He knocked off all of the head guys that was pushing the weight. And the Persian crew is the organization that Milan was associated with. And out here in these streets, Milan is known for being a cannibal and a little throwed off. And so Jamie already knows he don't even need to be playing with this dude. So the good news is they're not trying to kill Ghost. They want him to stay alive because now that Lobos is dead, somebody has to take his place. And they are looking at Ghost like, well, I guess you're going to be that dude then. And Ghost really ain't got no choice because what is he going to do? Tell him no? No. I mean, Milan them was so smart. That's what makes me think, maybe Milan really was ex-military. Maybe that's what made him a cannibal because, listen, there are a lot of things that happen in war that people probably don't even talk about. So maybe that was some kind of survival thing that he learned. Sometimes you got to eat the man next to you. I don't know what. I don't know. But all I know is it's real out here in these streets, and Milan is not the one to be played with. So he took him very seriously, which he should. Come on, he infiltrated the whole club situation. Like, he know where Tasha live, he know where Angela live, he know about his kids, he knows everything about Ghost. So yeah, you gonna do what he say. Once again, that's Ghost not paying attention, thinking that everything is on the up and up. Like he can just leave the drug game, in 3 weeks and be cool. No, Ghost. Anyway, So Angela was in her feelings when she thought that Greg had died, and when she seen that he was alive, she was actually relieved. And so, the little guy, I forget his name, but the one that's gonna find out everything because he has been on it all season. He actually talks to Greg, and Greg is like, somebody knew where we were, and there's a snitch in the department. I think it's Angela, and he was like, nah, I don't really think it's Angela because she was genuinely almost moved to tears when she thought something happened to you. So if she knew about you being in harm's way, she wouldn't have acted like that. So no, it's probably somebody else. And Greg was like, for real? She cried? Like, for real? She actually cared? Greg's still in love with that girl. Anyway, so Ghost has a conversation with Tommy and he tells him about the Persian and everything that happened. And Tommy almost, you can tell he almost laughs because he's like, oh, so they was around you the whole time and you ain't know it? James St. Patrick didn't see that coming. What? Really? They were at the club the whole time? Really? Well, I guess you're gonna have to just get rid of Angela, kill her like you were supposed to in the beginning because now that Milan knows who she is, she's a liability. They gonna keep using her over your head to make you do whatever they want you to do. See, Tommy was on point with what he was saying. I'm gonna tell you something. Tommy may not be the smartest dude in a lot of business stuff, but when it comes to these streets, it's like he got a PhD. He already know what's up. He's like, you're gonna have to get rid of her. And he was like, now Tasha, oh, she stay ready. So if anybody roll up on her, she's gonna be prepared anyway. Because she been living this life with you a long time. So she knows the risk and she knows, honey, at any point in time, somebody can be coming after you. So Tasha straight. And you shouldn't have really left her in the first place. Okay. And anyway, so he tells him, you're going to have to get rid of her because you know what Milan is known for doing. So, I mean, you killing her would be a great service to her because they going to do some crazy stuff to her. And so that got Ghost to thinking. And I was thinking, dang, Tommy, you killed your girl. Now you want him to kill his girl. Man. But anyway, so Ghost makes a decision. And that night he goes to see Angela, and Angela had been, up waiting for him. Mind you, she thinks everything is okay and normal because she thought he just went to the hotel and stayed there the night, and he was just coming home, and she had a bad day at work, and Lobos is free, and she just going through it. And he starts to tell her that he wants to go back home because Tariq is acting up, and it's because he's not there, and they were living in a fantasy world, and they can't have that life that they, dreamed about. And she was hurt so bad, and you can tell it in her face. She knew something else was up. She was like, no, this can't be right. This don't even sound right because I never said that you had to choose between me and your kids. Nobody ever said that. And I mean, she really didn't. She was the one that was really pushing for him to bring the kids around anyway. But it was too soon for all of that. But in all honesty, she really didn't try to make him choose. He was just doing that on his own. So she knew it was something else. And she was like, no, just tell me the truth. What is it? And he wasn't about to tell her the truth because he was trying to protect her. And their chemistry in this episode was the best that it's been all season because I felt kind of detached from them. I kind of liked them being together in the beginning because it was like this unfinished business, even though I didn't like the simple fact that he was cheating on his wife. But I did feel this longing for them, to be together. So, this was the first time that I felt their spark again. And that's what made it extra sad for me. If I felt detached in this episode, about them being together, then I would have been like, oh, who cares? He left her good. He's protecting her, blah, blah, blah. But since the chemistry was so on point with them, even, their love scene, it was the old Jamie and Angela. And so this breakup was hurtful. Like I felt her pain. I felt his pain. When he closed that door And he said, I'm out, I wish you the best. And he closed that door and he broke down. Like the look on on Ghost's face was just so heartbreaking. You can tell. It just tore him up inside. And I was so sad. But he had to do it because he trying to protect her. But I mean, come on, Angela is tough. I think he could have told her. But then again, I don't know. I don't know. Y'all let me know. Drop it in the comments below. Do you think that Ghost should have told Angela what was up? Or did he make the right decision to just leave her out of it? I don't know. So that was this episode of Power, y'all. It was good. I enjoyed it. Let me know what y'all thought. Leave it in the comments below. If I left anything out, drop it below and we'll talk about it. Wait till Kanan come back. I don't know. It might be good to have them Persians around because they some killers. And they might need some killers when Kanan come back. But anyway, all right. I'll see y'all in the next episode, honey. Bye.
I just come from the poet's part. Bright light, city life, I gotta make it. This is where it goes down. I just